Welcome back, everybody, to Planet Coaster. It has been a long time since the last episode. I think it's been about 2 to 2.5 months. This is episode 26, and we're going to be really focusing on this Mine Train coaster that we started in the last episode. Now, it's not any Mine Train coaster, let me get that straight. It is the swinging track, or the swinging car, rather. And then it's a very long coaster as well. The coaster features 3 lift hills and all that stuff. You can see the design of this coaster along with the pathing and some of the terrain work in the last episode if you want to check that out or get refreshed on what's going on. We are in the studio park, and this is the adventure section of the park. So we're really gonna start focusing on the theming in this episode. And yeah, it's been a long time since I've been in Planet Coaster, since I've made a Planet Coaster video. So I guess I can kind of recap what's been going on lately and what's projected for this series here. So first off, I have to say, last time I played this, probably about 2.5 to 2 months ago, half of this video was done in that time period, and then the other half was done pretty recently. So this first section of the building the station is what we're doing right now, was done a pretty long time ago. I can give you the minor details like what we're actually doing. So this station is going to be built out of the thatch material that you can find in the building tab, and I wanted to go for like a jungle tribe type of building. So the thatch obviously fits in with that, the wood, and then like the wood structure, and then it is a little unsymmetrical, which I think is okay, especially because if it's a man-made structure, things aren't going to be perfect. So that's kind of like the basic gist of this. It's not completely going to be done in this episode just because I kind of skipped over it in what we're doing in the rest of the video, which I think might be a little bit more intriguing than just seeing me place wood on some thatch. Anyway, so this area is the adventure-themed area. The main draw to this area is that mine train, the mine train coaster, and as I said, you can see the process of building that coaster in the last episode if you want to recap. And then there's a bunch of like layout work. And the one thing I do remember from this series is that I wanted to have the park done in this episode. That is not going to happen. This build really took me a lot longer than I was anticipating, and especially like what we're about to get into after the station. I really went hardcore with it, I think. This is probably my favorite build I've ever made in Planet Coaster so far, except for maybe the station. I don't really like the station. I might end up changing it, I might not, because at the same time the station really does fit the theming, I think. It's a lot of wood. Anyway, there was a really hard cut there, so that means we're going to get into a little bit of the theming and storyline now. So as we go, I'll try and break down what I'm thinking for the storyline, and you guys can obviously let me know what you guys think. So you're going to see a lot of foliage going in. That's main because it's a jungle mountain, I guess. So there's going to be a lot of plants going in for pretty much the remainder of this video. Now, if you remember when I made the layout of this coaster, the coaster features 3 lift hills. So it has the first 2 that really start the ride, and then it has this mid-course area, and then the 3rd lift hill. So in this mid-course area, I decided it'd be really cool to make a show scene. And that's really what this whole ride is going to be based around. And I really tried to focus on that forced perspective area that I really think I should have focused a lot more in the rest of this park. And that's why I say when I came back into this build after the break, I guess you could call it, I really felt like I did my best work in this park and almost overall this whole game. So you can see, you're going to see a lot of detail, and it's probably my best plant work I've ever done, really, because I'm mixing up those plants. So you got some of those swamp trees, some of the palm trees, everything's going in, and you're going to see some pops of rocks in there, and then obviously the coloring of the terrain as well. And then, as I said, the forced perspective, so all of these plants going in is going to try and keep a certain path, like what you can see on the train, because I don't want to give away the whole ride, and that's really helped with the terrain as well. You know, the train can block the track, but so can the plants, and especially the plants can block the rest of the park as well. You can kind of see from this area, or from this view, in some points, you can really see directly into that like apocalypse ride that we have, and even all the way over into the Ghostbusters area. So with that being said, I really wanted to make sure that we were set with the plants, make sure everything looks beautiful. And already, I think from like just what we've done in that little corner there, it looks amazing. And we're gonna try and do this for the whole mountain, and that's pretty much the gist of this video, I'm gonna be honest. But anyway, let me keep going on with the story. So in that mid-course area, you saw a plane that was pretty much crashed and all that. So I'm thinking for the storyline of this, your job is to go rescue the people that that crashed in that plane. And as you go along, you have to traverse this rocky mountain jungle area. And then you finally reach them, you can salvage them, and then you take up your lift hill, and then you traverse back down the mountain and back to the station. And you know, now that I said it like that, maybe it might have been better to make that the station like a medical tent or something. So maybe we do that instead. I might change it like off camera, or might do it in the next episode. As I said, this series is not going to be done in this episode, so we have at least one more where we're going to finish this area, and that I don't know when it's going to come out. I'm not going to commit to anything. I know if you saw my summer announcements video a couple months ago, I said I wanted to try and get Planet Coaster out as much as I could. I had zero Planet Coaster or any other type of gaming besides No Limits come out, so I'm not going to say anything, and hopefully we can get the series back up and going, because I really enjoyed doing it. So yeah, I think that's the storyline that I really want to go to, and honestly, I think it's one of the better storylines in the park. I think all the rides have good stories, but this one has the best execution as well. So we're still going to be marking up all this land, and then we're also going to dabble a little bit at the very end of the video into the queue section. And you'll see that, but that'll mainly take place in the next episode, along with the plaza area, the balloon rides that the balloon ride that you saw probably at the beginning of the episode. You might have saw it. And then I'm thinking we might have another episode depending on how long that takes, and there will be maybe a restaurant back here that has the jungle theme. And then I probably need to cover up the side of this show building that we made a couple episodes ago. I don't even remember what the ride name was called for that, but we probably need to cover that up to make it fit the theme a little bit better, again with that forced perspective type feel. And then I think after those couple of things are done, then we can call this series it's complete, and we'll move on. Again though, like I do remember saying in the last couple episodes, I'm not done with Planet Coaster after this. I have a park that I've really been wanting to do, and even though I've taken, I will say, a hiatus from Planet Coaster, I still have that park in mind. I still have some plans that I really want to go into, and even more than this park, I want to try and make every ride as good as possible. So like something like this, even though it took almost a whole episode just to do all this planting, I feel like it's worth it because of the end result. And especially like all this diversity in planting, as I mentioned earlier, I think it looks so good. And if you can catch a glimpse of it as I'm moving rapidly around, I think the diversity in the plants really does look good. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be the gist of this episode. We only have a couple minutes left. It is, I guess, on the shorter side. I don't remember how long these videos were on average, but this one's only about 10 minutes. I really didn't want to dive into anything new because that's going to lead into the next episode. Once I start the queue, it's going to be all pathing, queue, and the flat ride over here. And then, as I said, maybe that restaurant, and we're done. So, even though this isn't the ending video, we're still getting close. I might have projected it to be a little closer than it actually was, but that's okay. So I guess it's really hard to talk about planting. I'm so glad I've been able to ramble on this long, but yeah, I guess I can say the planting that I use, the majority of it is this bamboo plant. I think if you sink it into the ground, it looks like really overgrown bushes, which I really like. And then I use those palm trees, as I said, to give it a little bit of diversity, and then some of those big oak trees, and then the jungle rocks. I don't know the exact name for those. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole combo I did, with a little bit of pops of yellow in there just to kind of make it look a little bit better. and then the terrain painting of the rock and a little bit of the red actually. So as I said, at the end of the video, we were going to dive into some of this cue work. All I'm doing right now is a rock wall structure that this cue is going to sit on, and that's it for this episode. So as we end of this episode, or as we near the end, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. Hopefully it won't be so long till the next episode drops, and yeah, hopefully you guys are still enjoying the series. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.